Hey folks, Jeff here with Carpenter's House. It's Monday, the sun's shining, new day on the right, new week on the horizon. Speaking of weeks, we had a doozy last week, and I posted some things about that when I was out in the field uh, recording um, some of my interactions, not really with my clients, but afterwards. And we got ripped off on three different occasions last week by three different customers in 1 week. We do have some jobs going, which is a good thing, which is going to keep me afloat. But as I explained in the video before, we do charge our customers. It's our prerogative to do that. It's a free country. We charge $150 for initial consultation service fee, and then they are credited back, just no different than the big box stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, and we never charge them again in the future for the remainder of my business's life or my life or their life or whatever, to um, to be, free estimates from then on out. It's an initial consultation service fee. So I'm going to start out with the first customer. I'm going to show you what he said to me, and I'm going to show you my demeanor after I left the job site in a video right after this. So let's get into it. Now I can't find it. Okay, here we go. I don't know why that just happened. I'm trying to hit play. Okay. To the doorman door service of Tulsa from Monsters Inc. Tattoo. Hello there. I'm not sure who got their wires crossed, but my understanding was on the 6th. My understanding was not on the 6th. My understanding was on the 4th. So I moved on. I definitely won't be paying $150 for an appointment. I believe I was stood up for. And while we're on the subject, I want you to know that the technician you sent out was unprofessional, rude as anything I've ever seen. Me. Okay, let's see how he thought I was so rude. Let me set the scene. He's going to set the scene here. He opens his door, doesn't introduce himself, just comes in and shuts the door and yells, "Are you guys the ones needing measurements?" So Tara lets him know this was the lady I was interacting with behind the counter. Our understanding. Of course, I didn't say, "Are you guys the ones needing measurements?" I always introduce myself as the doorman, and I said, "Did anybody call for the doorman?" Very calmly, and I didn't yell. So Tara lets him know that our understanding was that we have written down was for the 4th. He doesn't try to talk calmly to her, immediately starts mocking her, raising his voice, telling her she's wrong, and literally calls her a bitch. Okay. First, not really the first lie, but definitely a lie there. Um, the other stuff I'd call maybe stretching the truth. He finally closes the door. Once outside, he turns and flips off the front of the shop with both hands. So, no, I didn't flip off anybody. This is flipping off, and I'm pretty sure I would remember that if I did that. So, that didn't happen. Uh, the most rude and unprofessional thing I've ever witnessed in front of multiple employees and my customers. Again, regardless of what you've written down and have written on my phone calendar, was the 4th. So, regardless of what you say, I didn't cancel. I took off work to be there and I agreed. No one ever showed. We were stood up, so we moved on. They weren't stood up. And I verified it with my administrative assistant and saw it in the calendar because she had scheduled it up with another job that day that I had just got from that I got ripped off on as well. We'll get into in a minute. At this point, I have pulled the video and resisted the urge to post it online, social media, and Google reviews. Okay, we have a lot of people that leave bad reviews on Google that we've never done business before. Some of them are people that knew the customer that we might have, had some kind of a downfall with, or refuse to come out and give a bid. That's a lot of them. They'll leave a bad review on you if you tell them, we don't service that area. I think I got one like that. Or, I'm sorry, we can't help you. They'll get on there, they'll hop on there and leave a bad review about your company and you never did anything for them. Okay. Um, we'll move on to the next issue, which is after I got out of the appointment. We'll see if I look like somebody that just called somebody a bitch, and if I look like a guy that was really upset about the whole situation and in the mood to flip people off on cameras out in the parking lot. And by the way, he never provided any proof because I requested this video And I did send him the video that you're getting ready to watch of my demeanor and asked the customer in a text message if this actually looks like somebody that is that mad about the situation. Was I upset? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's time and money out of my pocket to go to these people's appointments, trusting that they're going to pay the $150 and they're going to get that back in the overall estimate. Uh, that's trust. And you can say, they can say, people say it to me all the time. How do I know you're not going to charge me $1 million? And I'm going to get, okay, so $150 out of your life is going to make you so scared to spend to get a quality contractor to come to your house, somebody you can always rely on and call upon, because most people are like you. So we don't have a real big customer pool because of this. And it only weeds out people like you, because the people that don't think along those lines are the type of customers that we want. So let's get into my demeanor right after this. Okay, we'll check it out. Okay, so I just got out of Monsters Inc. They had scheduled up for me to be there today at 1:30, and they said that I was a no-show. And then the girl asked me, "You're the one that charges 150, right?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "No, we went ahead because you didn't show up. You were a no-show, so we scheduled you up for, we scheduled somebody else for the job." So that's what you got to go through. I didn't call over here in advance. A lot of times I will, but we'll find out when I get back to the home office whether or not we had this scheduled right or not. Not going to leave any bad reviews or anything like that, because we didn't do business with them, but I did tell the lady that she was wrong. So I trust my administrative assistant better than I do the customer in those cases. They weren't very friendly. And then the other job I went to was just a few minutes ago, about 30 minutes ago. I went by and looked at McGuire's, and the person wasn't there to meet me, and they had just walked out the door. They were supposed to meet me at 11, and I was there at 11 o'clock sharp, and they had just left. And the lady said that she didn't have any checks. So before we can send them an estimate, we will be sending them a bill to be able to move forward with the quote. So these things happen. We end up going to all the way an hour drive both ways is 2 hours into Tulsa and back home to bid these jobs. So that's why we charge $150. It's reimbursed upon approval of the bid, and we never charge them again in the future for any estimates. The estimates are always free, but there is an initial consultation service fee that we started back in 2019. And I just thought it was funny that the lady had to take that jab at the $150. So we'll find out whether or not that's true or not, but I don't think it is. So since I'm here in town, there's not really much left for me to do but head on back to the Ponderosa and get over to, well, I can go over to the shop in Pryor and have this guy. So yeah, we'll go over and we'll meet Brock at his shop in Pryor and get this archtop steel plate ready to be fabricated in the shop and get that underway. Okay, so in both videos, you should be able to see the customer's email and his correspondence with me in the first video. And the second video is, or part of this video, the second clip is of me in my truck when I leave the job site. And in no way did I seem as the type of person just got through flipping people off or calling people names. As a matter of fact, in one part of the email, the second part of the video in my truck, I refer to the lady as a lady, not a bitch. I didn't call anybody those names. Naturally, this guy has several judgments against him. My administrative assistant, she looked him up. who happens to be my wife. Uh, yes, my wife and I run this business. We're just a small family business, have been for years. As a matter of fact, it was her idea. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, it was her idea in 2019 that I start to charge for estimates, and it took me a long time to start doing that. Um, Charging for estimates is a hard row to hoe, but it's getting more and more common with contractors these days. And so once I saw that Home Depot, the big box stores were doing this, I started to incorporate it into my business. But you would be surprised as the amount of people that don't want you to come. They churches, they feel like that, that you're obligated not to charge them. I've had a lot of them refuse me to come out, which is fine. It has to always go in front of the church board and get approved anyways, usually. And I have worked for several churches, and I've done some really nice big jobs for churches that were that were good jobs, and they worked out great. So I'm not knocking churches by any means. I'm just saying that a lot of those don't want to pay the consultation service fee. And that's only if I come out. Now, if you have something that I can't do or don't feel like it's a job that I want, I'm not going to charge you. And also, if I don't come through with the estimate, which hasn't ever happened yet, I will give you your money back. I have given customers their money back when I later decided that it wasn't a good deal for us. They got their money back. I'm not that kind of guy. And I don't gouge people. So, and then I also mentioned in the second part of and me in the truck, not Chuck in a truck, but, you know, I'm not a Chuck in a truck. That's why I charge for my estimates. Me in my, vehicle, my truck, talking to the camera, uh, you can see, what our policy is and what we go through really, uh, to do that. It's not always an easy road to hoe. So let's move on, to the second, one, which I mentioned in the video, as I said before. He didn't even meet me there. I'm sure he forgot about it. I think that my administration assistant has talked to him, but he won't be receiving the quote until we're paid, which there's supposed to be a PayPal invoice go out to him today. And I have his notes, but he really needed to be present for me to be able to understand what was going on the job. So that guy, it may still happen, but still, it was a week of non-payments for work rendered, services rendered. And then the other one, the third one was even worse, really, than those two, because the lady was upset because I had told her, like I just mentioned, that I wasn't interested in the job. Okay. And then she got rude with me and started yelling at me that I was going to charge her anyways. And I said, no, that's not the case. And then she was like, well, then you can just leave. And she like walked right behind me, almost pushing me out of the building. And I turned and told her that that was very rude of her. And she said I was raising my voice, which I wasn't, but I did tell her that was a rude move of her to push me with her body out the door. And then she had two guys that were working on the job site come over and bow up on me as if they were going to attack me. And I had my job site folder, my aluminum folder in my hands. And really, that's all I had for protection. So I was pretty scared at that point. And I got my vehicle, and I did go back to that contractor and explain to him what happened. And even though we didn't do the job, I told him because of the situation that he had put me in, that I had no choice but to charge him for that, because that was totally unprofessional. I don't know, what our relationship would be in the future, but he did pay. But it was still a bad experience, because of the 150. And let me explain to you what people think when they think about this. That's all they're thinking about. They're not thinking about all the positives of this. This guy is going to give me an estimate. This guy is going to show up. He did show up now. This guy, I know where to find him. He has a PayPal account. I can reverse the charges. There's so many different protectors up there for them. Now, if they pay me cash or check or whatever, I give them an invoice to prove payment of that. And like I said, if they're not happy, I'm going to give them their money back. It's just that simple. But to, like I mentioned before, I'm still up in the air about whether or not I would charge people when I show up anymore, or whether to get that payment in advance. Now, getting the payment in advance, you're the one that's more obligated at that point. You have to show up dead on time. If you don't, you're asking for bad reviews. So you're asking for somebody to, say you're late, you're unreliable. I didn't pay him because he didn't show up when he said he was going to. Whatever, things happen. You may have to cancel the appointment and they may want their money back. So it may not be such a good idea to charge them before you even come out, especially when you live an hour out of town. Things can happen. Flat tires, illnesses, whatever. So it's always easier to reschedule or be late, maybe a little 5-10 minutes late. Let them know up front what's going to happen before you get there. When it comes to charging estimates, it can get, you think that, oh, it's going to work out so great, but it's not always the case. So those were the 3 in 1 week that we found to be the worst week that we've had so far since charging for estimates. Just last week, coming right into the spring, right into the summer. We can't afford to have that happen anymore. Please like and subscribe. Please, help us grow this channel. Your subscriptions, hit the notification bell. If you want to be, notified of all the content that I'm going to provide in the future. This channel is about our house, the carpenter's house, and also my going out into the field and doing carpenter jobs, carpentry jobs, I guess. But anyways, everybody have a nice day. As I said, have a nice week. It's Monday and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.